William Butcher is one of the more morally complex characters in the boys' universe. His cunning charm and his lack of compromise in his strategies makes him a very likable character in the show. However, there's a lot going on in his head that gives the audience a lot to think about. From his childhood down to the numerous traumatic experiences that would put the average person in a mental asylum, Billy Butcher is a basket case lunatic disguised as a deep state CIA operative. Despite his murder sprees and questionable decisions that almost end up getting the whole team killed, he remains as the formidable leader, getting his team out of near-death situations and making the right choice despite everyone saying otherwise. To understand what Butcher was going through, we should look into where Butcher was coming from. Based on the flashback scenes when Mindstorm took control of him, he was in an abusive family with all tough and no love with his father giving him too many beatings to bear, which made the twisted man that we see in the show. But despite the darkness that loomed around his household, there was Lenny, Billy's younger brother, who was the only glimmer of hope and the only person he cared about at the time. When Billy got older, he went into the British military and went away for quite a while, leaving Lenny with bitter words and an unfulfilled promise. He killed himself, with a bullet through his head with his father's gun kept hidden on the top shelf, which made Butcher resent himself almost all his life. He continues to carry that guilt as he feels responsible for his younger brother's death. We begin to understand why he has this strong, unyielding resolve from his early life. Add military experience to the mix, and Butcher became the ultimate weapon the CIA always wanted. Before he got mixed up in deep state operations and gritty espionage missions, he moved to America, met Becca, and got married to her. They both attended a Christmas party at Vought where they both became acquainted with Homelander. Becca suddenly went missing during that day until Grace Mallory showed up, the person who would soon be the founder of the boys. Mallory showed Butcher the security footage and it was revealed that Homelander had his way with Rebecca and he was doing unspeakably disgusting and cruel things to her. After that, Grace gave Butcher an opportunity to join the CIA in keeping Supes in check and put a stop to them when things go wrong. Raging with a relentless vengeance, Butcher took up the offer and made it his life's mission to take down Homelander for seemingly murdering Becca in cold blood. We later learn at the end of the first season that Becca's actually alive and was raising Ryan, Homelander's son, and Butcher tries to help her get out of Vaught's compound where they're both being held in season 2.
Now come on, we gotta get a shift done.
Listen, if the three of us leave, you're gonna find a way to get rid of him. I know it. It won't be in an obvious way and it won't be right away, but you will.
No, Becca, no.
Billy, I know you. I know you better than anybody and I saw it in your face last night. I see it now.
Billy and Becca share some truth bombs with each other as she doesn't want to escape. As much as Becca wants to leave, she understands that there will be a greater cross to bear. She would risk her son being raised by Vought, Stormfront, and Homelander. Butcher, being the violent-natured person that he is, will do whatever it takes to stop the guy that raped his wife. As if to add more guilt and self-hatred to Butcher's plate, Becca explains to her that she went to Vought first, since she was more scared of what he was going to do if he knew what happened with her and Homelander. His history of violence and abuse have lingered longer than Becca, and we've seen it a lot in the show. Billy Butcher has a tendency of pushing away everything he cares about, as he is capable of destroying everything and everyone in his path, because deep down, Butcher is already consumed by hate and anger. Or so we thought. Before all the events unfolded in Season 2, it's important to remember the character that humanized Butcher before he found out about Becca. When he started talking to a bereaved Huey days after A-Train literally rammed through his girlfriend, things started to turn around for Butcher. After recruiting Huey and becoming a member of the Boys, a group of vigilantes funded by the CIA tasked to take down corrupt superheroes that consist of Mother's Milk, who's the muscle and moral compass, Frenchie, who's a chemist habitual drug user, Kimiko, the soup who doesn't talk with a great formidable healing factor, and Butcher himself, Billy turned into a new leaf and oftentimes considered less violent strategies. I mean, sure, he still puts Huey in messed up situations like that one time where they just pushed through a whale, but as Mother's Milk puts it, he's his canary.
He's not gonna make it. And you need that kid. More than any one of us. He's your canary. What canary? You let your canary die? How you gonna know when you've gone too far?
Oh, me what a load of bollocks.
Huey's responsible for Billy not going off the deep end for like half the series. I really like whenever Butcher and Huey interact with each other because there are some quite wholesome interactions. To add to that, Huey is arguably the only person who still believes in Butcher, which adds more depth to the character. Huey reminds him of his little brother Lenny, and this makes Butcher less ruthless in the things he does. He's able to think things through, and with Huey's help, Butcher straightens up. Instead of seeking revenge, Billy seeks justice. However, we all have to remind ourselves that this is The Boys, and nothing really ends well in this show, especially for a guy like Butcher. This brings us to Joe Kessler, Butcher's ruthless equal and fought with him back in the army days. Him and Billy are great partners in crime, but they often have some disagreements, like that one time where Kessler suggested to kidnap Ryan while he's sedated with halothane was where Butcher drew the line. But Kessler remains standing on business. He keeps reminding Billy of the person he once was, a ruthless, cold-blooded soup killer. He didn't like the person Butcher turned out to be and kept insisting on going with a more heartless plan. Things started turning out well for Kessler, however, as Butcher faked Samir's death by chopping his legs off to replicate the soup virus to fulfill Kessler's superhero genocide agenda. As the season progressed, it was revealed that Kessler is just his violent subconscious. He has basically been talking to himself this whole time. He was actually just a personified form of the tumor that's been living in Butcher's body. He took Compound V to keep him alive for a little longer, as he was still suffering from the side effects of Temp V, which he used a lot in Season 3. It turned the cancer into this weird symbiote that harms Butcher when he rejects Kessler, but keeps him alive when he does otherwise. Aside from Kessler, we also see Becca constantly reminding Butcher of the promise he's supposed to keep. But after Ryan killed Grace Mallory, it seems that Kessler's taken full control. We barely see Butcher talk to Becca after that fact, and Butcher has fully gone scorched earth, snapping Victoria Newman in half, pivoting the plot in favor of Vought, and leaving the boys on their own to go do what he should have done in the first place, killing Homelander. The development of Butcher has been pretty inconsistent, which is a true reflection of his character. He has his good savior type moments, but he is predominantly antagonistic as well. His own internal struggles and how he still continues to have it all together with Becca and Kessler living in his head is a Freudian reference to Butcher's true nature and the good person he somewhat tries to be. To give further explanation, Sigmund Freud mentions that we have three identities within ourselves: the id, ego, and superego. The id is the subconscious, deepest animalistic desires that one has, and in the show's context, that's Kessler. Superego is the identity of pure goodness and morality, symbolizing Becca in Butcher's head. Ego is the more grounded identity that embraces reality and reason, symbolizing Butcher as he was the amalgamation of the voices in his head, representing Becca and Kessler's intentions. But recent developments in the show clearly point out that Butcher has started listening to Kessler. Shoving Huey away to kill Newman was just one of many moments that he's gone far off beyond saving. With a freakish tumor inside of him, he will stop at absolutely nothing, possibly even Huey, but who knows? The show hasn't ended yet, and the showrunners aren't exactly following the comic books. William Butcher is just a lunatic who knows how to kill soups and people alike, a loose cannon. What makes the character so great is that he's highly unpredictable, and even if we have a hint of what he's up to, he subverts whatever we were thinking. He's a cold-blooded man, yet he continues to make his blood boil by fueling it with rage, vengeance, and self-hatred. With how the current season ended, he's realized that he must not turn away from the main goal. He's fully locked in on killing everyone that gets in his way, and it'll only take an act of God for him to change his ways. He's suffered way too much, and he continues to spin the wheel of agony as he inflicts it on the people that may or may not deserve it, even at his own peril. This has been Vincent Znader. Leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.